Oh, wow. I made some moves today. I ended up selling a call on SPY, and then I turned right around and sold a put on CRDO. Yes, I made some good money today. Hello, my friends. This is Legend. So today we're going to take a look at a call that I did sell on SPY, and then we're going to take a look at a put that I sold on CRDO. I already sold a call on CRDO, and that's still open, but I did end up selling a put on CRDO today, and that paid me a bit more premium. So if you appreciate this type of content, please make sure to hit that like button, as it does help the channel out and it is much appreciated. So let's just start off with SPY. And I own my shares of SPY at this white line right here at 668. So when it came out today, and today being March the 17th, it came out and opened right around the top of yesterday's high. And that is this green line. Because if I scroll out a bit, you can see that it was close to it the day before, but that is where the high was that Friday. So I just ended up keeping with that same high point right there. And you can see when it first came out this morning, that's about where it was for that high. Right? So I just kept with that same line right around that 672.34 area. And when it opened, it did break above it. So I went ahead and I jumped right on and tried to sell that call. So you can see the first 5 minutes right here, it went as high as 673.83. So I ended up selling a call at 674. And I was asking $1.75 for that premium for that call. So as it started moving up, it ended up getting as high as 674.44. And around that time is when that call did get filled. Because if we look at my orders right here, you can see right there is that SPY 674 call for March the 17th, which is today. So this is a day trade. And I sold that call, and one order was filled. I had a limit price of $1.76, and I've scrolled right over. You can see the average fill price is $1.76. So I earned $176 for that call that I did sell on SPY. So now when I sell that call, I am agreeing to sell my shares at $674 per share. And had this stayed above that, I could have had those shares taken away. So I would have still got to keep my $175, which as soon as it's filled, that's mine to keep no matter what. But if it would have closed above 674, and if my shares were called away, then I would also earn that price appreciation between 674 and 668. And that is a total of $6 per share, or $600 that I could have earned if it did close above 674 and if those shares were taken away. But as you can see, it did tail off a little bit, ended up dropping down below the previous high, and ended up closing around 670.79. Now do notice, my shares are still at 668. And since it did not close above 674, I get to keep my shares. So this option will expire worthless. I still own them at 668. And if it does open above that 668 tomorrow, then I can look to sell another call. Because as long as I sell my call above 668, I could earn that price appreciation along with the premium. So that's some really good money on SPY. And we're going to update my spreadsheet to enter this in. But before we do that, let's slide right over to CRDO. And here we are on CRDO. And you can see this thing was just sideways overnight. And then the morning, this thing started moving up. And you can see right here, it ended up getting as high as 125.63. I thought, wow, we are on a run for this one, right? We're going to move right on up. And remember, I do have a call on the 100 shares that I do own. I sold that call at 131. So if it would cross up and close above 131 on or by Friday, then those shares could be called away. But I own those shares at 129, so anything above 129 is profit in that price appreciation. But in the meantime, I can still earn that premium. So as it was moving up, it hit that 125.63 right here, and then it started dropping, right? It dropped, and then it dropped, and it just kind of kept dropping, right? Looks like we ended up closing at 104.06. Goodness, what a drop, right? This thing dropped $12.82. Now don't forget, I have that call out there. So as this thing is moving away from that, the premium to close that call is dropping. But since there's only a couple days left in this trade, I probably will just let it ride to expiration unless I can end up closing it for just a few bucks, as I did earn $300 to open this one. But if I can close it for a few bucks, maybe I do that, because you never know between now and before Friday, this thing, if it would happen to pop back up to say 120 bucks or something, I can turn right around, sell another call at that same strike, say 131, and earn another $200-300 bucks, right? So I don't want to necessarily pass up a couple $100 just for a measly 20 bucks to hold this out for the rest of the week. So I am on the fence of closing this one out. And if we look to see on my options chain right here, and if we go right here to March the 20th, this is the call that I do have open. And this is the one at 131. And you can see current price right now is 104.06 at the close of today. If we scroll all the way down to 131 right here, how much would it cost me to close it? It has a mid price of 30 cents. When I opened this one, it was $3. All right. So I could have possibly closed this one for about 30 cents. And that would have mean that I locked in $2.70 in profit. And then if this thing would have popped back up, and as that price moves closer to my possible strikes, then the premium increases. And as that premium increases, then I can make more money. And that's what I've been doing with CRDO, going in, out, right? And I'll show you on my spreadsheet where I have done this one several times with the same shares. But let's move to the actual trade that I did today, because this is all talking about the call that I did. But how about the put that I sold today? So like I said on the chart, it was moving down. So I ended up selling a put. So let's again go back to that options chain. And I sold it going out to March 27th. So that's a week from Friday that I set that expiration date. So let's open that up and let's scroll right on down. And you can see there's that -1 right here, because that is a sold. Because it's negative, it means it's sold. So that's a sold put because it's on the put side. And what strike did I select? Well, come right over here and there we are. There's the strike right there, $99. So if CRDO drops below $99 by my expiration date of March the 27th, then I would be obligated to purchase those shares at $99 per share. But if it does not, then this option will expire worthless and I'll just look to do it again. But how much did I end up making for that option that I did sell for that put? Well, let's look at my orders. And here we are, CRDO, $99 for March the 27th. It's a put for 100, and that 100 means that's how many shares a contract is. And how many contracts did I have? Well, one contract. So that's 100 shares at 99 bucks. It was indeed filled, and I had a limit price of $3.50. And if I scroll right over here, you can see it did fill at $3.50. So that's $3.50 per share, right? Times 100 shares, because I have only one contract. So that's $3.50 times 100, that's $350, times how many contracts? 1. So that's 350 bucks that I did earn on that CRDO put that I sold. So all in all, I earned $526, not counting the fees that I have to pay to open those trades. Now with Webull, it's not much to open those trades. It's around 6 cents per transaction, not per share, but per transaction. So instead of 350 bucks, this is going to be $349.94 because I had to pay that 6 cents. And the same goes with the SPY call option that I sold here. So I made some really good money today, a little over $525, not too shabby at all. So now let's just go ahead and jump right on my spreadsheet. Let's get that thing updated and let's find out how much I've made so far after those 2 trades. And here we are looking at my options tracker, and this is for my selling options, right? Where I sell my calls and I sell the puts. All of the green ones here are closed out. The ones that are still open are TJX and CRDO. And this CRDO is the covered call. That's the call that I sold, and I do own those shares at $129. I got a strike at 131, and it's got an expiration of this Friday for 320. I earned $3. It cost me 6 cents. And there you go, $299.94 is how much I made on that covered call. Now that one's still open, so it's still rolling. Now I could close it, and if I did, I would have to pay 30 cents per share, which would be about 30 bucks, right? So I would pay $30, and that would come out of this $3 I did earn. So I would end up clearing about $270. Not too bad at all, right? That's some good money. But let's just go ahead and let's update this. Let's enter that SPY and CRDO put that I did sell. So we'll start right off with SPY, and that is the covered call that I sold on SPY. So first thing we'll do is we'll enter in today's date, and the ticker, of course, is SPY, SPY. My purchase price. This is what I own those shares at. And you can see right here on this cash secured put, there's that 668. And that is the one that I had sold that put on. And it ended up closing under 668. Therefore, I was assigned those shares at $668 per share because I am obligated to purchase those shares if the price of SPY closes under my strike. And since it did, I was assigned those shares. So that is the price that I own the SPY shares at. And that is the price that I will enter in this field right here for purchased price. So that's 668. This is a covered call. All right. So it's a CC for covered call. The CSP, that's a cash secured put. Both of them I'm selling, right? So I am the one that's earning the premium because I am selling it, right? Now, the strike that I selected for this was 674. The expiration date was today's date of 3/17 because it was a day trade. How much premium did I earn? Well, that was that $1.76. Now, fees to open this, again, 6 cents with Webull, and the number of contracts with 1 contract. So this is going to total up, and this is going to show me that I earned $175.94. Now, this money shows up into my account immediately. I do not have to wait for it to close before it pays me this amount. I sold the call, and therefore I earn this premium, and it shows up into my account immediately. So that's always a very nice thing to see coming in, as that is fresh powder coming straight into my account. Now, if this trade was, say, 2 or 3 days or a week or even a month, right, of an expiration date, then this would show as open and we would move to the next line and enter the next option trade in. But we know this one did end up expiring worthless because it never did get above 674 by close. It is under 674. Therefore, this one will expire worthless. So I feel pretty safe by going ahead and closing this one out. So we'll switch it from open to closed. And that close date will be, again, the same date. The fees to close, it expired worthless, so it cost me nothing and therefore no fees. So I did indeed lock in $175.94, and that ends my trade for that one. So were my shares called away or was I assigned those shares? Well, since it is a call, the question is, was my shares called away? Well, it closed under my strike, therefore they were not called away. It must close above my strike before there's the potential of those shares being called away. So the answer is no, they were not called away. So as you can see, of course, there's no price appreciation because those shares were not called away. Now, had they been called away, and if this was a yes, you see that it would actually be $600 in price appreciation that I would have made. But they were not called away, so therefore that's a no. Zero price appreciation because I still own the shares. Earned that $175.94, that's a 0.26 on just the day. And if we project that out over a week, that's a 1.85% for the week. And if we project that out for a month, that's 8% and a 96% for the year. Come on, that's some good money, right? But you know what? It's not over yet. I still own those shares, so I'll be looking to sell another call, hopefully tomorrow. But until then, let's go ahead and let's enter in the other option that I did sell today. So we have that same entry time here. So that's today's date. The ticker being CRDO, CRDO. It's going to pull again that same current price. Now for this one, okay, this one here, what is my purchase price of CRDO? Well, this one here, I'm actually selling a put on. So I do not own another set of shares. So what is the purchase price for this one? Well, if I am selling a put, that means I do not have a purchase price for this lot. So that is going to be zero. Now, don't get it confused with the other CRDO that I do have up here because I own those shares at 129, but I've already sold a call against it. So those shares are tied up in this call. So I cannot do anything with those shares unless I were to buy to close that trade so that those shares would be back in my account. But right now, they are tied up in this covered call with a strike of 131 and an expiration date of March the 20th. So right now, I'm selling a put. So if this does close below my strike, then I would be put those shares and I could potentially have another 100 shares to sell a call on. And if these shares would not get called away, then I would have a total of 200 shares to write calls against. So this one is going to be that CSP. What is my strike? Well, I selected a $99 strike on this CRDO put that I did sell. And I have an expiration date of 3/27. The premium I earned was 3.50. Fees to open this one, again, 0.6, just 6 cents. How many contracts? I only did one more contract for this one. So total premium I earned was $349.94. And that means if I have to buy those shares, I would have to buy them and put up $9,900 because it's $99 for that strike times 100 shares times how many contracts. And there you go. We have our total capital in use of $9,900. Now for this one is still open. I did not close this one. I just opened it and it has an expiration date out to March the 27th. So this one will be open just the same as the previous CRDO that I have a covered call on and the TJX that I have a covered call on. Now we did close out SPY here, so let's just go ahead and let's highlight this one. So we'll go up here and we'll just select it green. It'll give you the pop-up here because it's telling you you're editing some of the fields that do contain equations, but that's okay. We're just changing the color. For this instance, we're going to hit OK. Now that is closed out. It is green, and it's easy to see that I have one TJX covered call. I have a CRDO covered call and a CRDO put that I sold. Now that we've entered everything in, how much have I made on this account now? So let's slide up and let's look at the very top number and find out. And there you go. We are now at $3,904.94. Almost broke $4,000. And as you can see right over here, my first trade being January the 29th and today's date being March the 17th. Take the difference between that, and that's roughly how many days I've actually been trading these, and I've earned $3,900. So that's a monthly percentage earned of roughly about 6.75% for the month. Now that is only using the capital that is currently invested, and that's this capital here that is being shown, right? But still, $3,900 for what? A month and a half? Not too bad, guys. Not too bad. And if we take a look at that overview, let's just check that out. You can see I still own my 100 shares of CRDO. I have that put, but that put just says that I am obligated to purchase shares at $99. I have not purchased them yet because they have not been assigned to me. So I don't own those 100 shares, but this 100 shares is part of that covered call that I do have on CRDO. If that does go through, then these 100 shares will be gone as well. And I have 100 shares of SPY, which I am selling that call on. That expired worthless, so I keep the 100 shares and I get to do it again. So I'll be looking to sell another call on SPY, hopefully tomorrow. And there's the TJX. I have 100 shares of that I have a cover call on. And that cover call actually is out to about June, okay? That one I ended up rolling out a little further as I was wanting more price appreciation on TJX. So what do you think? I mean, I think $3,900 in a month and a half, that's some pretty good money, right? And I haven't even really done too many trades. So I'm pretty excited about it. And I do enjoy selling cover calls and cash secured puts. They're a lot of fun, easy to do. And if you do it on safer stocks like SPY, then you don't have to worry about, in my opinion, losing money. Even if you have to hold those shares for long term before that price would go back up, SPY overall moves up and to the right on the chart. Therefore, that price is going to increase. Even if it does drop over time, it should still increase. Now, of course, nobody can tell the future, but all I can tell you is when I'm looking at a 1-year chart, it's moving up. And when I look at a 5-year chart, it's moving up. And I can even roll this way back, right? Right there. Look at this. Always moving up. Does it move down? Of course it does. Look right here. It had a huge drop right here, and it was down for a while. But over time, it does seem to recover. And that's what I mean by a safer stock or ETF. In my mind and in my opinion, over time, SPY will recover. So anyway, if you'd like to get a copy of this spreadsheet, come on over, join the Discord, where you'll get a copy of this, where you can enter in your own options trades to help track where you're at, which ones are open. Did you do a cover call on it? Did you do a cash secured put? And for those out there who are in margin accounts, maybe you're doing naked puts, and that's what this NP here is for, okay? I'm doing cash secured puts because a lot of these are in my IRA account, and you cannot have a margin account in an IRA account, and therefore you cannot sell naked puts. But for those out there who do sell the naked puts, I do have that option for you to use that, as that does change the numbers a bit. But for the rest of us who are securing those puts with cash and those calls with shares, come on over, join the Discord, and give this sheet a try. That link will be down in the description and in the pinned comments below. So I think I'm going to wrap it up right there. If you don't mind, hit that subscribe button and smash the like button, as it would be much appreciated. And as always, I am not a financial advisor, This is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence before you get into any stock plays. And until next time, Legend out.